a void, all around me that slowly began to form a grey gradient sphere into focus as I numbly looked into it. Some strange sensations washing over me like waves on a beach, pulsing with steady and increasing intensity. Slowly, very slowly, the grey started to glow brighter and brighter, its luminosity now more a white light that began to hurt my eyes. But I couldn't look away. No matter what I did, it always shined straight into my eyes, becoming so unbearably bright that I felt like screaming. That's when I woke up, to at least put it in some words. You might think of waking up to be a menial task in your morning routine, especially after a bizarre dream like mine. You just hop right on your feet and stumble off to do whatever it is you do in the morning. But what if you just stayed there? Not out of laziness or just not wanting to get up. I mean, not being able to. That's the sort of hell I found myself in. After the dream I mentioned earlier, as I woke up, I hadn't the slightest clue on what sort of nightmare I would wake up in. Funny, isn't it? My initial thoughts were that this was just that sleep paralysis thing people sometimes experienced and wrote about. But after the first hour had passed, I started to panic, as much as a person unable to move or vocalize even a slight sound could. I remember focusing very, very hard on moving just the tips of my fingers, which laid in front of me beside the pillow my head rested on. I can't put into words how hard I tried. I was practically screaming inside my thoughts, shouting, "Come on, move. Move, you fuck, why won't you move?" For hours. I tried before I felt so drained mentally I had to stop. The pulsating headache I received from my efforts pretty much made me. I wanted to cry, and after a while I did. The relief of my eyes being wetted for the first time in hours felt like a moment of bliss. It wasn't hard to turn it into a habit, since it was the only thing that I could do, as of then. I got pretty good at it. Could have won an Oscar in how easy I made it. I just thought of my situation and boom, instant waterworks. But as much as I cried though, it wasn't really helpful when I started to get hungry. The first day of being prisoner of my own body, as cliche as that phrase is, wasn't hard to power through. The rumblings of my stomach were pretty much the only reminder I had of having other parts of my body. With the slightest shake, I could feel pretty much most of my torso. But after the second day of doing nothing but crying and staring straight ahead, my stomach was killing me. Each passing second, it hurt. It hurt more and more. The few breadcrumbs sitting on the plate on my nightstand in front of me started looking more and more like 5-course meals for Till. Just the thought of having one get sucked into my mouth felt like an opportunity to die for. I remember reading an article on how the human body can survive without food or water for well over 2 weeks in some cases. But as the days went on, I begged that it was just a wild assumption by some article-desperate journalist. Not sure how long it had been since I heard another sound aside from my stomach rumbling or the AC whirring. But my phone lit up in front of me on the nightstand. Couldn't see who it was from the angle I was viewing it from, but I assumed it was my boss, probably wanting to know where I've been for the past 3 or 4 days, wanting to tell me that I was fired. But I didn't care about who it was. Just hearing the sound of the default ringtone was a great little vacation from this hell. And then it stopped. Just like that, I was alone with my thoughts again. The days started to blend together after that. Not sure for how long exactly. At the most, it's been about a week, give or take. Somewhere along the past week, at some point, my phone started to beep. Must have been the alarm I set as a reminder to wish my mom a happy birthday. Some final attempt at trying to get back in her life after an argument when I moved out. I wish I could just pick up the phone and dial. Tell her, Mom, I love you so much. And I'm sorry for the things I said all those years ago. I'd tell her that I needed help. That I've been stuck in my bed for God knows how long. That there's nothing in this world that I would do for a taste of her pot roast. Or, God forbid, a tall glass of milk. And the phone's been blaring the alarm for a few days now, I think. But I can barely make it out in my head. Everything's blended together now. Muted, even. Must have exhausted my tears since everything is a misty gray now. A haze. I can still make out things during the day, but after the sun stops shining through my window, I'm plunged back into the state of being alone with my thoughts. But the luxury of seeing is also eventually faded to black. My eyes so dry they must resemble raisins, or some other dried up fruit. My lips also peeling skin. I think they must be pretty badly dried up too. But the sound of that alarm, that fucking sound still remains. At least for now. I keep thinking about how my day could have gone if I actually got to stand up all those weeks ago. And the feeling of the bristles on my toothbrush scraping against my teeth. The aroma and taste of the dark brewed coffee I'd ingest. Looking at myself in the mirror as I put on my tie. Getting ready to go outside and head to work. The small patch of grass I'd walk over to get to the bus stop. The smells of dried vomit and lingering tobacco inside the bus I'd get on. Typing things on my computer at work. Then getting yelled at my boss. And then coming home after a long, long day. Tired and sleepy. Wishing to lay down on my bed. And then falling asleep. And then falling asleep. And then falling asleep. And then.